Welcome back to Raw and Restored Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie. And today we are going to dive into a powerful question, okay? That has to do with healing and real life transformation, okay? Because that's what we talk about on this channel, healing, transformation, building your faith, things like that. So, all right, the quote that I'm going to read to you comes from Romans 8:28. And it says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." All right. So today's podcast is, do you think everything is happening to you or for you? All right. Because a lot of times people will say, I just feel like I just keep getting the bad end of the stick, and everyone else is just moving through life with no worries and no triumph and no hard times. Just like the hard times just keep coming to me. Why is this? Why am I experiencing this burden? Why is this happening to me? All right. Instead, you have to reflect. Instead of saying, why me and why is this happening to me? Why not think, is it something that need to learn? Is there a lesson that needs to be taught? Is there something that I'm missing? Because think about it. When you think in your life about several things that have taken place, relationships, family, school, career, and then one of those things you're lacking a lot, tremendously lacking in one of those places. And you have to think about it because in your mind, you think, well, I'm this age, so why am I have to still struggle? Why am I still in a place where I'm not fully developed into my best self or finding that love that so much desire, that I'm so much desiring? So you have to think, are you one, learning the lessons that make you ready? Are you identifying those situations before jumping in those situations? Are you able to identify them? Because that plays a big part. That plays a huge part in this. So I just want to take a minute and I'm going to, of course, share a story. I'm going to give y'all story time every time just to make sure you can understand the topic of today's conversation. So, for me, I always felt like for in two categories. Okay. It was career. Like I said before, I have a good job. I have a really good job. Some people look at me and say, "Why are you upset?" But I have a really good job. And I always felt like I was behind and I had to face all of these like difficult cycles in my life. Like, I try to apply for a job and they don't refer me, you know. And I'm like, wait a minute, have the experience. Why are you not referring me for the job? What am I missing? And as far as a relationship, it's, I know what I want now. I know what I want now because before, child, it was just as long as he finally got a good sense of humor and he makes me laugh and we get along real good and he likes to have fun. I mean, that's cute when you're dating, but when it's a real relationship, you have to go further than that. So now I know exactly what I'm looking for. So as far as the job, I had to really be realistic with myself. The jobs I was applying for didn't meet my personality. Okay. I was applying for jobs where I would be ducked off, quiet in the corner, not really dealing with anyone, when I actually like to interact with people at times. Now I still have my times after I've done peopled. I don't want to people anymore. but for the most part, I'm always willing to talk and make people comfortable. Okay. So that was one thing. It was like I was battling who I was versus who I was trying to be to fit in or whatever. And that just wasn't what I wanted to do, which is why when I put in for the lead job as a joke, I got it, because you need people with patience, understanding, empathy, help you build your confidence. I'm gonna help you build your confidence because if I build your confidence, you get confidence, Joe. Do you stop asking me questions? So that was one of the reasons why I came to find out. And then when I went to management, the same thing as well. And as far as a relationship, you have to be real. Well, like I said in another podcast, social media has developed the expectations for relationships for people instead of us setting our expectations for relationships. We rely on the internet to tell us what we need to get in a man. And I'm not talking about the podcasts, some of the podcasts or some people that say, if you are looking for a certain individual, then you may want to do these things for yourself instead of waiting around, And if you identify these certain behaviors with an individual, then maybe that's not for you. Okay. So, um, that's another problem because when I started dating, I'm gonna be real. I had boyfriends. Yes, indeed. I had boyfriends, but I didn't have a lot of boyfriends, and I didn't have really any of them who actually saw me. And I mean by people say they don't see me. I mean see me. Like you understand my personality. You understand that one, I can get shy, I can shut down, I can get a little underconfident when I feel like you don't quite get where I'm coming from, or I have trouble at times, sometimes expressing myself because I want to make sure it makes sense. Because I have all this to say, but and I'm trying to make sure I put it in all the words so that way I'm getting it out and delivering it correctly. So, um, that's a part in, relationships. But like I said, people let the media tell you as long as he's taking you on vacation, long as he's taking you to Dubai, is Dubai still the spot? I know South Beach, Miami is the spot. And I'm just gonna be real. South Beach, Miami is really nowhere, okay? And y'all be sweating them to take y'all to South Beach, Miami. And I don't get it. But anyway, but it's it's more than just that because he can take you to all those things. He or she can do all of those things with you and still have a stale, unstable, undeveloped, no growth relationship. So as I said, I'm going to share a story. I just had to get all that out before you know. So, like I said, I had boyfriends. Um, but there was one particular guy that I came across in high school, and he was by far the most mature guy I ever dated. But I was so in my head about I'm just not good enough. I'm just not good enough. I just not good. Honest to God, he broke up with me. I would have broke up with me because I would have got tired of hearing my sob story. But it that's a thing. So it starts with you. Like I said, you have to build your own confidence. You can't look for other people to do that. So I would just sit there and be like, I'm just not this. I think I'm gonna do this. I told him I was going to get breast implants. Child, I was a mess, a mess, a mess. But I tell you this, he was the most mature. He was the most willing. He was the most initiative dude I've ever met. When we were in high school, before he got his job at this market at the time, and he wanted to take me out, he would mow 3 lawns to make sure the tickets were paid for. I had snacks. I could get something to eat, and we went out. So that's the kind of stuff that when you can't find what you're looking for, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, it's somewhere in your life you experienced it, but you didn't take heed to it and you didn't understand it. So until you get an understanding on it, you'll keep going into these same one-sided relationships where you're pouring all yourself into this person that doesn't want to pour into you. Like, you'll have a good person like that, and because it didn't end well, and you're just like, I just can't get any. You're basically gonna settle for whatever. So next thing you know, you look up and you're settling for someone that says, "Hey, let's just see where it goes." They just want to like you. They don't want to love you. They just want to leave that where it's at, because that has a lot to do with your self esteem. Because if you're gonna sit there and deal with that, then you got some internal struggles that you need to work out. Because why would you, if you are looking for love, want to deal with someone that say, I don't want love. I want to just be in like. And I've heard someone say that before. And I think when I heard it, I said, well, that's selfish because they sure enough are getting a girlfriend benefit. Okay. And they up here telling somebody that was insane to me. But I say that to say that just because you may not have that relationship doesn't mean that you're being punished by God or punished by your own beliefs or whoever you believe in. That's not what it means. It means that you are missing something major, a major step or turning point in your life, and you're about to miss it. Before the real thing can come in, you have to change some things. So it's happening for you, not against you, for you. Because if it doesn't happen for you, you'll continue to make those same mistakes. You'll continue to go in those relationships. I had my first kid's father. Okay, like I told you, I got two baby daddies. That's another story. That I'll eventually tell when I'm ready to tell. But I remember he did everything that I did not want. But because for some odd reason, it was some non-clarity with well, not really, not non-clarity. It was because I was confused, not really, well, confused and hurt. We'll say that. I had a particular dude that I was extremely interested in. And I thought it was going to be a thing because we were talking every day, hanging out every day, going out every day. We were doing everything. And it too, we were definitely not doing that, but we were on the road to sex, but we was hanging out and doing other things. But I just said, okay, well, look, this is it. Like I will drop every dude I'm talking to. And then dude that I liked, we was about to have sex, okay? We was literally about to have sex. And I remember, and he just stopped and was like, I can't do this. And I think it was because he knew my feelings were more than his feelings. And that's big to do. Some guys would have took advantage of the situation. And he was like, I can't do it. I can't sleep with you. And he said, I can't sleep with you not knowing if I want this relationship. So he backed out and he apologized and all this other stuff and then took me to work and all this stuff. And then I was just mad the entire day. I was hurt the entire day. And instead of looking at it like he was being honest, upfront, and a man, because we was only at like how old were we? We was about 19, 20. And to be that in that frame of mind at that young of an age, I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it like, oh my God, he rejected me. I can't believe this. That I pick up the phone and called my now oldest kid's father. um, I had no intention on talking to him. None. And stuff. So, I mean, I'm thankful for my baby. I'm thankful for my baby every day. I'm thankful for my baby. And there's certain qualities that he had that she needed, that I needed to see on a daily basis so I can change things within myself. Um, and I went on for that, but he did everything that I didn't like. He did everything I didn't like. He called me 14 times in a row. He was disrespectful. Um, he never held a job. Um, he didn't have a car. Um, and him and his mother relationship was child. It was something to see. It was very dysfunctional. I mean, him and his brother had a better relationship than that, and sometimes that was touch and go. And but basically, what I did in that situation was I felt like it happened to me. And how did this happen to me when me and him hung out and I liked him and he said he liked me? It didn't happen to me. It happened for me. He protected my feelings because he didn't feel the same way that I felt. And instead of taking advantage of me and my body, he said no. And instead of me looking at it like that, I turned around and settled for something that I didn't really want. Although I got the biggest blessing out of it, a lot came with that. Then it came with um I raised her on my I raised her on my own and now it's permanently on my own because he is now deceased. But to avoid all of that, you have to know that things will happen when they're supposed to happen instead of you trying to take control because you feel like you're getting punished and set back and looked over and forgotten about because that's not what's happening. And even in that situation, when things fell apart, they fell apart really bad. It was really bad ending to that relationship. Instead of again uh taking my time and seeing things that for what it is and understanding because God got me out of a situation with my second kid's father the first time, we're kicking it, we're hanging out, and this is about 2010, and find out. I mean, I ain't gonna get too into my business, but I'm gonna be honest with this one. We're hanging out in 2010, having sex, all that, all of this. So this one, yes, we're definitely having sex, and find out he's still married, still married, not yet divorced. So I said, hold up, hold up. You're married? You're still married and you want to have sex with me? Oh no, I don't sleep with married men. So I called off the whole thing. But that should have been something that I always remember. For some reason, we sometimes as we sometimes as people get this, we're lonely. We're so lonely at times. Or we feel like, okay, we took 6 months to a year. Now what we gonna do? Dwell about the same relationship that hurt us? You have to feel all of those. So that way you make the right decision. So again, when you are affected by a big breakup or big change or traumatic experience in your life that happened and it could have happened, you think it happened to you and it happened for you. Because a lot of times if it's a job, that job probably had things with it anyway where it wasn't treating the employees right. And then you were like, oh. And or it could be a relationship again and that you knew that person wasn't good for you. So you closed it out. But for some reason, you're always going to feel lonely if you don't find the love within yourself. Because then I jump from one bad situation. I'm in this situationship with this guy. I stopped talking to him, and then I'm just chilling by myself. I mean, I dated here and there, but it was nothing. It was really nothing serious. It was just like, okay, let's go out. And I went and I went and mind my business. Sometimes I wouldn't talk to them for weeks, months. And the guy comes back. And and you have to keep in mind when you believe things are happening to you and then you feel that you healed from the situation, and God is always gonna come back and make sure that you learned the lesson. And I ain't learned it yet. So what did I do? I jumped back in the bed with him, the same guy who was married. And I couldn't believe I did it again. Next thing I knew, and I had no intention. It's like everything out of my mouth that I was saying to him was how I really felt. He said, "So you wouldn't talk to me? I was like, no, because you got too much going on. I ain't got time for that drama. And I was dead serious. But it was the confrontation and not standing firm. Like the flesh is weak, and that's where it came down to. Flesh got weak and things happened. Next thing I know, we in a relationship. But I remembered after we had did all of that. And he says, "Well, I don't really want a relationship right now." At that moment, that told me something. But instead of taking it and running with it, I was like, "What you mean? So you just gonna do that?" Da da da. And then he was like, "All right, we can be in a relationship." He just wanted to boom, fuck, sack. That's it. And I couldn't get that because at the time I was going through a whole court thing with my oldest kid's father. So I was internally struggling anyway. Like, and people do cry on that. But God at that time wants you to rely on Him and not yourself. And a lot of people rely on their own belief in their own ways instead of relying on Him. Had I just trusted in God, I mean, my youngest had to be here. Okay, that child was needed, but and if I did, even if she came, because she probably would have came here, things would have been handled differently. I wouldn't have stuck around so long, you know, and I would have said, you know what, we got this baby, but I don't really care for this relationship, and I would have left and went on about my business. But each time that you don't develop things within yourself for you, because again, you feel like everything fails, nobody likes you, it's all happening to you, when really it's not. It's not. They're distractions. And that's exactly what he was. He was a distraction. And he was a distraction that stayed around longer than he should have. So now that I understand that what his place was and the purpose was, I could never go back to nothing like that. And that's where I want you guys to get to. Never think, and I'm going to keep saying it, never think it's happening to you. It's happening for you. You know, like I said before in another episode, I think it was the last episode, everyone's in your life for a season. People aren't meant to stay in your life. So, however long they stay for however long it takes for you to understand the lesson. And at the moment you understand the lesson, they're out of your life. You done broke ties. There's no going back. You can't even pay you to go back. But as long as you keep repeating the cycle, you will keep going back and putting up with the same stuff, no matter what it is, what's going on. So you got to keep that in mind. You know, God wouldn't put you through nothing and just leave you hanging without it being a purpose. And that brings me to the next thing. So because you believe that everything's happening to you, you get in this victim mindset. And you all, like I said, you're always going to feel like things unfair or overwhelming and the world is against you. And you're emotional and you're frustrated and you're bitter and you're hopeless. You have a lot of envy. Like that one friend, like I said in another podcast, they was dating their person for a little bit of time or whatever, and you was with your person for all these years, and they're taking their relationship to the next level. They talking marriage, and you're sitting here wondering why you are still in this situation. Okay, and because your friend is getting married, you feel like life is unfair. You feel like everything's against you. No, it's what you're putting up with. So at the moment you decide, hey, I know what I want, he can't change my mind, or she can't change my mind. I want this. And if I can't get from her, I will just stay by myself until I find a person that wants the exact same thing that I want. And that's when life starts happening for you because then you get a growth mindset. You see your setbacks as lessons, redirections, and um preparation. I couldn't even get the word out. Preparation. Um, and instead of being overly emotional and frustrated and bitter, you will then have gratitude and then get empowerment and resilience based on the lessons that you have learned. Okay. Like I said, losing a job now gives you the path to start that business because maybe that's what was always on your mind. Starting that business and getting that off the ground, but you kept putting it in the back because of fear, because of uncertainty, because you didn't think that you were going to be able to do it. But now you're in a situation where all you have is this business idea. So what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to be a victim or are you going to make something happen? Just like in a relationship. Now the relationship is over. You are now free. You don't have to put up with this anymore. Are you going to sit there and talk about, well, it's not bad. He should have. I mean, I know people that live in the past. Okay. He didn't do this for me and he went off and he got married. He can do that because you weren't it. And a lot of times when people treat you that way in a horrible way and they real emotionless, they're gonna continue being emotionless with whoever they come in with. They're gonna be that um emotional vampire. They're gonna suck the energy, no, not emotional, energy vampire, that's what they call them. They're gonna suck the energy out of whoever is pure enough to let them in and gain control. That's how they get control. And they're gonna keep getting that control through that way. So that's never gonna change. It's just that they're gonna find a person that's actually gonna sit back and put up with it and act like and give the perception that this is a good and healthy relationship. But deep down they know it's not. Because a couple ways you can see what a good and healthy relationship is. A good and healthy relationship is people smile, people look relaxed, they still take really good care of themselves, you know. Besides the spending time together, going on vacation, you can spend time together, go on vacation, go out to dinner together, and still not like each other like that. But it is the um health. They look healthy, and the reciprocation. You can see it. Like they so naturally at it, good at it that and they do it because they want to. That they don't even know that people are. They don't even care that people are noticing, but people are noticing that. All right. And I did have one more verse to give you. This is about frame hardship as opportunity. God uses shape character to strengthen faith and redirect path. And this comes from James 1 2 through 4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Didn't I just say that before? Get out of the victim mindset. All right, that everything's happening to you and everybody's against you and nobody likes you, nobody loves you. First of all, there is a person that's always gonna love you. God's always gonna love you. And you know who else gonna love you? Your family is gonna love you. And if you have kids, the kids are gonna love you. So you have people that love you, but you have to believe that. And the purest love, because you love all of them, will come to you naturally. It won't be confusing. It won't be unsure. It won't be let's see where it goes. It'll be I know where I want this going. I want you to be a part of it. I was reading every now and then I look at things on YouTube and one thing caught my attention. People talk about zodiacs and things like that. Honestly, it's whatever you feel about that. But but um the it was one girl who left a post in the comments. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm gonna see if I can find that. Give me a second. Give me a second, cause I gotta find it. I'm on my YouTube. I'm pulling up my YouTube. Just look to see if I can find it. Um, okay. Uh, okay. Um, so this girl, she must have erased it because she didn't like what none of us said, which was the truth. We was just trying to get that sister a little encouragement, and she didn't like it, and she erased her whole thread. Um, okay. So can't find her original statement, but it was something like, I'm a Taurus and I'm dating the Scorpio, and he's, basically leaving me in confusion. And he told me that he wants to, what is it? He wants space right now. He emotionally hurt me, but he called me, but he leaves me in confusion. And I, basically don't know where it's going. It was something like that. And people was like, "Girl, you don't need a zodiac to figure that out. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's confused." That's not. And all five of us had to tell. It was like five of us that told her, like, "Girl, he's telling you." And what I told her was, because I was like, I had a relationship just like you have a relationship with that particular zodiac sign. I said, but a person basically will cheat if they don't want to be with you because it's something internal with them. I said, so you can sit up here and say you dated this person, this person, this person, this person, and I just laid it out for. I said I had a Scorpio male, a Pisces male, a Capricorn male, and they all cheated. Okay, and I dated two Virgos, and one of them left me confused, and the other one was just he was all over the place, and I think one of them cheated as well. And I'm like, why would you um waste your time with it? I said, because remember, love is direct and clear. Love will not leave you confused. And he's telling you exactly what he wants to do. He wants to date other people, but he want to make sure that you're in the background, waiting on him. So when he's done, when he's finished with these other women, that he know you right there waiting for him. That's even if he stops when he comes back to be with you. But I said, the harsh reality says he's not coming back. And if he comes back, he's only coming. And if he comes back, he's only coming to sleep with you. That's it. He doesn't want a relationship with you. He already told you that he doesn't like you like that and he sees no future with you by disappearing on you the way that he did. No man that really wants to be with you is going to say out his mouth, I need space. I have to see where this is going. What? It's more like, okay, we need to figure out where this is going because if you, I want to do this, I want to take it to this level, but you giving me mixed feelings. Like, do you see us as this? He's going to ask you from a man's point of view. Okay. There's men out here that do that. Okay. I know y'all say us girls, women do that. Yes, us women, we do that. But if he really wants you, he will do that. He will do it. So for that girl, I mean, she deleted the whole thread, which means she ain't learned the lesson yet. Which means she's going to continue to mess around with him. Which means she's going to continue to find another guy just like him until she realized that she didn't had enough. Because she has a victim mindset right now. Everything's happening to me. Nothing's fair. She's bitter. She's upset. Everyone has this happily ever after but her. Because since I've been in that position, okay, and people know who they want and what they want. And one thing they not going to do, one thing a man isn't going to do is be confusing if he really wants you. He's not going to say, well, I gotta see, because I was with her for a long time and I gotta see what I'm gonna do. And when he start talking that foolishness, bye, bye, goodbye. Remove yourself. Just do him the favor. Remove yourself. Same thing for guys. When girls say that, I mean, I don't know. I was dating him for a long time and remove yourself. Help her figure it out. Just say, well, while you figure it out, you will figure it out without me on the side. Okay. So I say the same. I mean, I'm not getting into zodiacs or nothing like that, but I just said that to make a point that people will go to social media to get insight. And then when you come across people who are actually trying to tell you because they say, "Hey, I experienced this," and it's kind of the same way, regardless of the sign, they may not. Let's say it's a conversation that's not even mentioned, ma'am. You have to understand that you deserve a chance for yourself. All right. So it's a couple things I want you to take away from this podcast today. All right. I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Write them down, journal them, because you know what? Journaling is a part of healing. Okay. And I think we should all be journaling, journaling, journaling. And you can get a journal book. You can do it on Notion, which is on a computer, or you can go get a book. But all of us should be journaling at this point in our lives. Okay. 3 takeaway questions. And I want you to think about this. And I'm going to address them in the beginning. I'm going to address my own on the next podcast. I'm going to answer from my perspective. And the 3 questions are: what situation in your life feels like it's happening to you? The second question: how can you reframe it as something happening for you? And the last question: encouraging journal and prayers a reflection. So, with that, encourage yourself to journal and include prayer and reflect and ask yourself, what is God trying to reveal in this season? Girl, I just said that, girl, boy, sir, ma'am. Like, come on. Like, you have to listen to him. Because if you don't listen to him, girl, who you mad at? Bro, who you mad at? You not mad at me. You not mad at nobody else online. Okay. All right. Because social media will dress it up as marriage is toxic. It's a scam. It's a scam because you believe that marriage is doing nothing. You believe that marriage is doing nothing for you. And so that's therefore it's a scam. You know, and another thing, because I believe I covered everything. Um oh, okay, I have one more for you. I did, but I another thing, lavender marriages. Let me bring it back a little closer. Lavender marriages. What is a lavender marriage? Okay, sis, come on, scoot closer. What's a lavender marriage? Okay, a lavender marriage is when a woman dates a homosexual man and marries him or dates him, where they have an agreement that they are just together because she is tired of dating. She feels like she's not meeting everybody and it's happening what? To her. She is what? The victim mindset. Therefore, she does this in hopes that she will get what she is lacking in a regular relationship. This is by far the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. Because what the hell? Why are you going to hold him back from meeting his ever after? And so, because you don't find any man that's worthy of you. So, you're going to hold him. Because if you honestly think he's going to stay where he finds his Prince Charming and his person that he also desires, he's going to leave you. Why should he stay there? For what? Unless it's something where same-sex marriages aren't legal in the state, and he like, well, we can stay married for the benefits, and then, but I'm gonna have this man over. Why even? I mean, I get the plan, but I mean, unless it's something like that, I don't really get it. I don't really get it. I don't really understand. And I think that is immature, extremely crazy, and damn right selfish. Damn right selfish. Because you are so insecure that you are willing to marry a guy of whom you can never have a full developed relationship with because he what doesn't like women, but you're going to be with him because he is going to cook and clean your house and fold your clothes and do your laundry. What? So you try to tell me in the LGBTQ community that all of them are automatically don't have messy homes? Like they're human beings. We all have a messy house at some point. We all need to mop the floor, scrub the bathroom, scrub the toilet, wash the dishes, and take out the trash. So what are you talking about? What exactly are you saying? Because you act like they like third world aliens. Because I don't get it. They're human beings like all the rest of us. We're all human on this earth, and we all have the same responsibilities as one person. And to say something like that is crazy as hell to me. I'm gonna have this laughing in marriage because I know he gonna cook a mean dinner. What the hell? I can name five homosexual people that I know right now part of the LGBT community that cannot cook, that burns water. Okay, what? So what are you saying? What are you saying? And that I had to get on them plenty of times to make sure they have filter water because I hate tap in their house. Like, so what are you saying? You're saying because they are this is the life of the marriage, they're automatically gonna do no, at the end of the day, they are still a man. And they still have man tendencies. Why? Because they're a man. So they're still gonna do things that men do. Child, I don't understand. If you want real love, again, that's a victim mindset. That's taking control. That's not trusting God. That's not doing anything. That's just I'm gonna handle it. But I did think that's very selfish to hold him and make him stay with you because you lonely and his person could be out here and then he's gonna be lonely. That ain't right. So that's just my own take back off of that. And you can take that however you like, but that's how I feel about it. I always thought that was strange. I mean, what? Because I ain't about to sit back and play house and play merge with somebody I ain't even sleeping with. Are you for real? So anyway, um, so today's podcast is all about whether it's happening for you or to you. So just keep that in mind and all the things I said because the goal of this podcast is shifting from victimhood to victory. All right, we want to get rid of the victim mentality and then create all our good times and victories and abundance that's coming toward us that we are destined to get. Okay. So I'm just going to leave you with this quote and then I am going to talk to you another day. All right. So everything you face may not be good, but God can use it for good. Okay. So y'all enjoy your day and I will catch you in the next one.